Oh, baby, it is draft day, Thursday, April 29th. We are recording this, full disclaimer, April 28th, so Wednesday night. So if any breaking news happens, that's not our fault. But, of course, it's going to because it's draft day when you're listening to this. Joining me, great friend of mine, one of the people that I love to talk the NFL draft the most with. We've had heated discussions for years now. He actually joined me, as you see, repping all my Titans gear. He joined me 2019 draft in Nashville, Tennessee. We could do a whole podcast on just that whole trip alone.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to get into details. But Aaron Crowell, welcome to the show. Happy to have you on, brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm happy to do this. I love talking football, especially the draft. It's always the best time of the year for me being a Browns fan.
yeah, this year's a little different though. How's it feel? First question is, how's it feel picking in the 20s?
It feels great. I mean, especially with the offseason that they had, it doesn't feel like they are really in a spot where they have to they have a specific position they have to draft. They could honestly just pick the best available player and they'd be set, And that's what's so nice is we're not having to worry about, what quarterback we're going to take. We can just get to worry about, who's going to be the best player at 26. And I love it.
Yeah, that's a huge change. It can be exciting. I was kind of that way with being a Rams fan for a while, then now a Titans fan. All of a sudden it just switched and all of a sudden it was oh, okay. Wait, what are we doing? I'm seeing all these top 10 guys. I'm ooh, I want him on my team. And then it took me a little bit to realize, wait a sec, we're not going to get him. And so that's true. The Browns are a very complete team. And they, adding Jadeveon Clowney in the offseason, adding a few other pieces. They have a few needs, quote unquote needs that I think they could fill, that they could improve on. But there's not a glaring need for them where it's okay, if we don't get this guy, the season's garbage. They're good. And speaking of Cleveland, that's where the draft is this year.
Oh yeah,
I'm surprised you're not there.
I'm bummed. I honestly didn't expect to be, here back in my hometown either. So I also didn't expect them to actually have it in person. So
yeah,
I didn't plan too far ahead for that.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's especially to try to plan things all. This whole time, but. Man, I got to say, last thing we'll do before we get into our mock draft, because we're very excited. That's why we're all here to do this joint mock draft. As I'm kind of preparing, looking through everything over, looking through my notes, all, kind of rewatching some, kind of quote unquote tape, whatever tape a random 22-year-old has access to, aka YouTube, whatever kind of tape I have. Just kind of rewatching it all. Of course, I had to have on in the background one of the best sports movies ever, at least of the recent era, and that is Draft Day. It is fantastic. Of course, speaking of Cleveland, another reason why I'm glad to have you on, and it was especially, it was tougher, but also really nice to see again, just with, Vontae Mack, no matter what, it was just, it just hit different and just made it even more special. And, with Chadwick Boseman, playing just that great role, because that was kind of before, his Black Panther days, before he was on the way up to being big, but that was one of his first kind of main roles. And that was the first role that he had that I noticed him and I was okay, I like this guy. And just watching Draft Day, fantastic movie. Now I'm ready to mock.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's pretty much all we had for years was that, that dream scenario, oh man, this could happen. And, whenever we found out, because we found out it was going to be based on the Cleveland Browns pretty early on. And we were really excited. My whole family's pretty much a Cleveland fan. And so, we were all ready and gearing up for it. And it turned out even, better than we expected. And we walked out this year's going to be our year, thinking those players were actually on the team and this actually happened,
Sonny Weaver Jr.
It was great. I loved it. I still watch it. Every now and then.
Yeah, I got to watch it once a year. Every draft season, got to watch it at least once.
It's funny because I think, if I'm not mistaken, after that, that's whenever they did that big haul from Philadelphia shortly after. I think it was the 2017 draft that they did that. They traded down and they ended up with like David Njoku, Jabril Peppers.
Oh, yes, that was that
someone
year.
else. And they just traded like a bunch of picks and got a bunch of picks in return. And with the Eagles trading Carson Wentz, that it looks like the Browns pretty much won that trade now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
At the time, we were like, oh no, what are we doing? And especially after, Carson Wentz was near MVP and took, pretty much just slingshotted the Eagles to the Super Bowl. It was all like, oh no, what did we just do? And now we're kind of feeling a little bit better about that. But yeah, it was funny, the timing, and we're just sitting there watching the draft play out and like hearing all these trades, and we're like, this is literally the movie.
Yeah. I remember seeing I remember seeing so many memes on Twitter and stuff. It was like, okay, who hired Sonny? Like, what happened? Because there were so much, like, just the fact the movie just came out and all that happened. That was great as well.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So let's do it. Let's get into the mock draft. Few rules that I made up. So what we're doing is we are going to be alternating picks. So I got one because, it's my podcast, so I get to be number one. And then he'll be 2, 3, 4, etc. And the fun part is we have no idea what our picks are. We each have our separate notes. We haven't even completed our official, our individual mock drafts yet. We're both kind of working on ours still. So I have absolutely zero idea what we're going to do or how it's going to go. So that is very exciting. And just kind of the last thing is we're just doing no trades. I'm not a huge trade in a mock draft guy. We all know trades are going to happen. And probably as we're discussing these picks, we'll say that we could see some trades coming here from these teams. We'll kind of mention them, but, we're going to do a nice, just straight up, no trades. And let's get the show on the road. So
I'm going to turn on my post notifications for Scheffner real quick.
Oh yeah, let's get the notifications, because if you want to check out our breaking news, so if something breaks, which it's 9:00, so there's plenty of time for something to break. But
I can guarantee you almost no GM is sleeping tonight.
Oh, not at all. Literally the opening scene of draft day, the Seahawks GM is literally sleeping on the couch, in the team facility. That's 100% what it's going to be. No one's sleeping. Everyone's doing everything.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, all right. With the first pick in the 2021 NFL draft, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock. And this is a tough one. This is, I really have no idea. Me as a kind of a Clemson fan as well, this is a very tough one. I'm already penciling it in. We have quarterback Trevor Lawrence from Clemson. Obvious pick. Yeah. We talk about betting a lot on the show, and we'll probably touch on a few, kind of some odds, some plays I might like, but I'm not going to place any until right before the draft. But there, a guy from Odd Shark who I follow on Twitter, he's hilarious. He posted, he was like lock of the century, and he bet $1,000 on Trevor Lawrence to be the number one overall pick to win $1. So yeah, if that's not a lock, I don't know what is. Although he just took a screenshot, he didn't actually go through with it, so I don't think he did. But all in all, he's the slam dunk pick. Me as a Titans fan, don't love it, not at all, because as a Titans fan and a Clemson fan, I'm very upset that first off, Deshaun Watson going to the AFC South, and now we're not even going to get into that situation because who knows what's going on now. But at the time, Deshaun Watson going to the Texans, hated that. I remember watching that draft because they traded with the Browns at 12, and I was so excited because I was like, okay, he's going to Cleveland. I like Cleveland. I could root for him. And then all of a sudden I saw a trade, and I saw the Texans, and I was pissed. Fury filled me, and it was unbelievable. So then
I was all right with that trade, especially the year after. Or what?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what'd you guys get for that pick? I don't remember because I was just so.
We ended up getting fourth overall, and that's whenever I think that's what we got Denzel Ward with, if I'm not mistaken, because he tore his ACL partway through the season, and they only ended up winning like 3 games. So the Browns, I believe it was in the 2018 draft, they ended up with the 1st and the 4th overall pick. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. It
I
could
was
have been
gonna
the
say
2019 pick.
that sounds right because and I remember that being upset, and then this year, Jets are rolling with the 1st round pick, like the 1st overall pick the entire time, and all of a sudden Jaguars clinch it, and I get pissed again. I'm like, why are all these Clemson quarterbacks, all these Clemson players going to AFC South teams? Like, what is this? I want to root for these guys in the league, but I can't now. But no matter what, I'm not going to let that bias. I've shown my bias many a times on this podcast, and you might see it some again later in the draft. Who knows? But right now, Trevor Lawrence, slam dunk, number 1, easy money.
Here's my thing with that pick. I don't know. I want to see the Jaguars do a little bit more. I mean, right now with who they've got on their team, it does not matter who you put in at quarterback. They don't have the pieces around them to be successful, like Joe Burrow with the Bengals. They have a serviceable quarterback in Gardner Minshew. Coming off an injury, hopefully he can get better and get back to his, full self. But they don't have the weapons for him. I mean, Laviska Shenault isn't going to be terrible, And who's that other guy?
They just got Marvin Jones. They have DJ Chark. So they have some decent guys on the offense. But I agree with you to an extent because I'm very much a fan of, building a team, and then once you find your quarterback, like, you're good. Like, building around. You saw it with the Washington football team. Their team is unbelievable. They just don't have a quarterback yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I'm a proponent of that. But I mean, Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence's don't show up in every draft. You can find good quality running backs, wide receivers. And I think they have a decent enough skill, like, on the offensive side, decent enough core. Their defense is just atrocious. So I mean, they have a ton of holes to fill, but they have the number 1 pick. They have the 25 as well. Like,
they have the 25?
They got to start somewhere. I'm sorry?
They do have the 25? When did they? Oh, they.
Yeah,
when did they trade into that?
They've had the 25 pick for a minute. I thought that was even before the draft process.
Where in the world have I been? I had no clue that they got into the 25th.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'd have to look up. I don't even remember because it's been a while. But they've had that for a while. Let's see if I can see on one of these mocks if I pull up if they say like where from. It's not going to show on these. Yeah, so all in all, they have the 25th pick as well.
Must have missed
where they can get another guy. So Trevor Lawrence, slam dunk pick, number 1. Enough said.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's insane to think that they're not going to go. They're not going to go with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Even though I was hoping with Urban Meyer they were going to go Justin Fields.
I know that was a big rumor for a while there.
That's who I still think Justin Fields is the best quarterback in the class, but
I think he's 2. I think he's still behind Lawrence.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, so I got the Jets going.
Yes, sir.
Number 2, and I mean they're going to go Zach Wilson. That's another one. I just don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to go anything else.
No.
That might be a spot where Justin Fields can slide in, but even then, I don't know. They just seem to be too in love with Zach Wilson not to go with him.
Yeah.
He looks like a New York kid, He's got the hair. He's got kind of that attitude about him, Who knows? He could be the next Broadway Joe for all I know.
Yeah, there's something that. My full opinion, as I do some Utah stuff, so the whole Utah BYU rivalry is it's legit. It's a lot of fun to kind of be a part of, and yeah, I mean, I'm not huge on Zach Wilson, but the Jets, if we were doing the mock and you started, I do the exact same thing. Like, they're all about him. It's we'll see if the Jets have to pick a first round quarterback in the next few years again. We don't know. So.
He's that kid that's kind of got that little swagger about him that I like. That's one of the reasons why I really liked Baker. Coming out of Oklahoma, so he kind of had that edge to him.
I remember we talked about that a lot because
he kind of had that little swagger about him, and that's what I kind of see with Zach Wilson. Now, I mean, I think Baker had the better skill set coming in, and I think he was the better prospect overall. But I think that confidence can carry a lot, and especially to a team and a young team and a building team, that confidence can really build up a team, to make it something. And hopefully he can do that with New York.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember you and me, we were like the only guys like that would ever say like, I think Baker will go number one. And like there were some of the, it's like, oh, it's just a smokescreen. I was like, no, like I actually think it. And like I remember you and me were the only two guys that were on that train.
I'm not gonna lie, I really did not like Baker. I did not, because I'm an Ohio State fan, so he planted that flag, and I really didn't like him. But after that Kansas game, and the talk that he kind of gave, and that he, his apology that he made, he seemed like he was really sincere, and it wasn't just like one of those things that was like force fed. Like he, actually kind of, seemed like it meant something, even though, is all kind of, I thought it was all kind of, just a little silly how they all kind of portrayed that. But, he showed a lot of leadership and a lot of character. And then after that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I want Baker number one. I'm like, you can't tell me I don't want any other quarterback at one that's not named Baker Mayfield. And from there on out, I was sold on him. And I'm so happy that, I believed in him, because, at a place,
working out.
Yeah, at a place where never thought I'd be as a Browns fan.
Yeah. And then one last thing I'll say about Zach Wilson. I think another reason why he's, kind of up so like much. I feel like if this was a few years ago, he probably wouldn't be like the number 2 guy, just because we've really seen a wave of quarterbacks now, like Patrick Mahomes, crazy arm, like throws, mechanics, like just big play, like kind of crazy arm strength, crazy arm. And then last year we saw Justin Herbert. He's out there slinging it and just making these crazy throws all across the field, all across his body. And Zach Wilson kind of has some of that, and you saw that during his pro day. So I think that kind of excitement that kind of comes with like his like arm talent, like that propelled him up as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, number 3, the San Francisco 49ers.
It's a big one.
This is where the draft starts. This is where some people are saying the draft starts at 4. Nope, I'm saying draft starts at 3.
It's 3. It's definitely at 3.
It starts at 3, and up until, honestly, I was going to say up until a few minutes before this show, but you know what? No, up until like right now, I have been going back and forth on who I'm going to take. Is it who I like think truly they're going to take, or is it who I think they should take that like they could take as well? Because they're between Mac Jones, Trey Lance. From kind of what I've heard, it's a lot of the personnel scouting department, they want Trey Lance. And I've heard Coach Kyle Shanahan wants Mac Jones. So it's kind of tough, because Kyle Shanahan kind of scares me right now after the quote he put out there in his press conference a couple days ago, when he says, and I quote, "I can't guarantee that anybody in the world will be alive Sunday." So I don't know what he's done, what negotiations he's made with the year 2021. I know we're out of 2020, but like, I'm terrified now to go against him. So I've been back and forth. And you know what? Kyle Shanahan, he's going to be a great coach wherever it is. I think it's more and more likely that Jimmy Garoppolo is not on the roster come week 1. And because of that, I'm going to take the more quote unquote pro ready, if you want. And I'm not going to go against Kyle Shanahan. So I'm going to say it, even though it's not what I think they should do. And I'll probably put a little money on Trey Lance to go here, just because I think it should happen. And maybe I can get some plus odds somewhere. But I'm going Mac Jones number 3, even though I hate to do it, because that's not what I think.
That's crazy. I can't. Yeah, that's something that's beyond me. That's, like I said, I'm an Ohio State guy. I think, Justin Fields is Justin Fields.
But the fact he can't even, the fact Fields isn't even in, that is a whole nother story of its own.
It does not make sense to me. It really doesn't.
No, because remember, like right after the college football season ended, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, everyone else, like it was kind of like I'd say it was still 1-2, but it was very close to kind of a 1A, 1B with Lawrence and Fields. Like,
and especially after, he diced up Clemson's defense.
Yeah. And
Like it's like, okay, like he should be number one,
yeah,
And then all of a sudden he's just dropping. And I mean, Chris Sims mocked him at 32, which I think he just did for attention.
oh, he 100% did it.
But
Yeah,
that's just like, I don't know. I don't feel like that's out of the realm of possibility either for some reason, because I don't know. I just don't get it. I hope it's all just kind of like teams are just kind of playing their cards close to their chest, and they actually really want him. And, he's a lot of teams' favorite guy. But
yeah, it's crazy. Like I said, I don't like it, but that's why I'm going. So it's Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones. Like I said, I was even back and forth when I was kind of rambling on about my little, like, what I was going to do with the pick. I was still back and forth because every part of me wants to do Trey Lance, but I'm just going to, try to be as respectable as I can as a quote unquote. No, I'm not even going to say journalist because no. Even though, yeah, no. So, Mac Jones, Aaron, you got number 4 with the Falcons. What are you thinking?
I think the Falcons are going to go Kyle Pitts. I just see that happening. That's, they're not in a desperate need for a quarterback. So, I think they have Matt Ryan he's a couple years removed from his MVP season, and he's not the quarterback that he was that season, but I still think he can be really well, and especially with the weapons. And if they keep Julio Jones and adding on a tight end like Kyle Pitts, I think you could see him kind of go back to that form of that MVP season, And so I think that's the best pick there for them. I think that's a no-brainer for them, especially with losing Austin Hooper, to the Browns last year and losing, their that big target. They need someone that can do that, and that dude's just good.
No, I completely agree, 100%. That's why I would have gone as well. Like it's Kyle Pitts here for a few reasons, just because, like the quarterback situation, like I think if Trey Lance is there, it's very tempting where I'm thinking they're going like all Kyle Pitts, but Trey Lance is there. They think for a sec, like, wait, maybe no, we go Kyle Pitts because he's just a difference maker. And yeah, you throw him in that offense with Arthur Smith coming. Arthur Smith's going to call the plays. He is coming from Tennessee. He's a great, offensive coordinator, great at calling plays. Players love him. And he's very good at kind of adapting to what he has. And another kind of little sprinkle that I think would be fun, and I'm going to mention it because, I'm wearing my Titans jersey. So Kyle Pitts is another great option because, there's the Julio trade rumors now. So if they're planning on doing that, they need more than just Calvin Ridley, even though Ridley's a stud.
Yeah.
So Kyle Pitts just kind of gives that insurance. And then say if, Julio Jones goes to Tennessee, like that they'll still be fine. But then they also play in the NFC South. They have every single team has a high-powered offense. The Bucks, the Saints, even the Panthers' offense is pretty good. And I'm excited to kind of see what they do with Darnold because I actually like Darnold there. So they need to score points, and Kyle Pitts will 110% get them there. They'll find their quarterback later and it really gives Matt Ryan the confidence that's like, okay, I'm still their guy. I'm still the guy here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
I like him. He's not the biggest tight end in the world, but he's almost going to be one that kind of sets up almost that kind of tight end wide receiver hybrid just even more.
Yeah,
to where they're not just becoming blocking tight ends, they're becoming receiving tight ends. Yeah, and I think that's a slam. I almost said a slam run. A slam dunk.
Slam-a-jamma, baby. So, yeah. All right. So, I like it. We're at Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Kyle Pitts. Now, number 5 with the Bengals. There's a couple names here, but to me...
This is a big one.
Yeah. To me, it's a little easier. I'm not 100% this is what's going to happen, but to me, this is what the pick is. I know Jamar Chase, him with Joe Burrow. The connection is there. That's what makes it a little bit more difficult to me. But I think it's got to be Penei Sewell. It has to be 100% for me. I mentioned it last week. You got to protect your guy. I know Burrow's got the connection, but I also think you get a potential, Pro Bowl year 1 guy at left tackle who is going to shore up your line, that's still not very good heading into draft day. And there are just so many more wide receivers that you could get early second round that, there's going to be a couple guys here that are going to follow the first round that are, very good wide receivers. And I like the Bengals receiving core. Yes, they need more weapons, but I like their core. I like Tyler Boyd. I love T. Higgins.
Mhm.
Like they have enough there to kind of, be serviceable to at least move the ball, because Joe Burrow looked outstanding last year,
Mhm.
especially him coming off injury is Penei Sewell.
Yeah, I don't even know why it's even much of a question in general. I mean, they've got to protect him. I mean, you saw definitely, with the
That
with the
scar.
photo shoot that they had. Yeah, that scar. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know. That they have got to shore up that offensive line and get that taken care of immediately. You can't have a successful quarterback without a successful offensive line. I mean, look at the Browns the last couple of years. Baker struggled last season, and he was getting no time. Not this past season, but the season before.
Mm-hmm.
But he was getting no time in the pocket. He was always scrambling, running around, trying to, just having to get away from the pressure. And he struggled because of it. And this year they really shored up that offensive line, and they were able to, get everyone set with, Jedrick Wills at left, and then Batonio at guard, J.C. Treader at center, Wyatt Teller, who doesn't get talked about enough. And then they got Conklin. Sorry, they got Conklin at right tackle.
It happens. We have had Dennis Kelly. No, I was okay with it just because we still had Dennis Kelly. But yeah, Conklin, that offensive line was fantastic. I remember having reservations about the Browns, even though they just got Odell. Like they had a bunch of. I was kind of looking at that line. I was like, they'll be better. But I was like, I don't feel. Then this year, it was like, oh, it's still gonna be the same old Browns. I was like, well, they got their line now, so I'm like, they're gonna be better. I did not predict the season they would have, but I'm like, they could be a playoff team.
Hey, Wyatt Teller came through big time, especially the little experience that he had, and I mean he was even competing with Drew Forbes last year to even potentially see starting time. Now Drew Forbes opted out, so he didn't get to see any real competition at right guard. But I mean he just played lights out all season long. Aside for the few games he was gone due to an injury, but he just played so well. And I mean, that's what the Bengals just got to get that offensive line fixed. You're not going to have a successful team at all without an offensive line.
Burrow, I was going to say
every year
he was as successful as he could have been. He played as lights out as he could have, and they were still losing like pretty much every game just because he had no time. The fact that he actually stood in there and made the kind of throws that he did, and how the poise he still had, that shows everything you need to know. And that's why you picked him number 1 overall last year. So, yeah, Penei Sewell, number 5. And this is kind of shaping out how I think it's going to go. Not necessarily how I think it should go. For the most part, how it should go. But this is pretty much how I'm thinking it's going to go with our top 5. Aaron, you got number 6 to the Dolphins. What are you thinking?
I think they're going to go Jamar Chase. They need some more weapons for, if they truly want to buy into Tua, which I think they should, because, I mean, that was a mess last year how they treated it. It was just – it was sad to see. You can't – a rookie quarterback, you just can't put him in and just be like, oh, yeah, now we're going to pull you. But then you'll play the next game. Oh, we're coming down to in crunch time, huh? We'll pull you, but we may play you next week.
Dolphins,
you just can't do that.
Make the playoffs if they start Ryan Fitzpatrick all 16 games. Dolphins,
yeah, even that, yeah,
they make the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was insane.
And
sorry,
they ruined a lot. No, you're good. They ruined a lot of confidence for him, and so I'm hoping that they'll kind of show like, okay, we're bought into you. Here's Jamar Chase. Go crazy, That's what I'm hoping that they do, because they desperately need. I mean, did Devontae Parker leave the team, or is he still with them?
Devontae Parker, I believe, is still with them.
Okay, I couldn't remember if he got traded.
Yeah, they have him. They have Will Fuller, and then you get Jamar Chase. That's a solid trio.
Yeah, I think that's what they need to do, and they're solid on defense.
Oh, their defense is outstanding, and Brian Flores is an insane coach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we saw that a couple years ago when it was like rumors, oh, this is like the worst team in NFL history. And then they go out and win 5 games and are competitive and even more. So he's a hell of a coach. And So yeah, I think that's the pick as well. I kind of said with the first 5, that's how I think it's going to go. I think it's that way with this pick as well. The top 6, I think that's kind of how it's going to go. The only like potential difference could be, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, whatever. But I don't think there's a whole lot of like trade interest here. Like these top 6, I think all those teams are staying put. There's still like slight rumors that the Falcons could still trade back. I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to stay put, get Kyle Pitts. And now we got the Lions, number 7. This is where I could see them going a few different ways. This is a little tough, but I think this might be a little bit of a surprise. I'm not sure. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, but I'm going to the Detroit Lions, number 7 overall pick. I'm going Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons.
It's a little different, but I mean, they could 100% go wide receiver here. There's a lot of mocks have Devontae Smith here, which I could 100% see happening. And, I thought about it, but I'm going to go Micah Parsons here just because, with Dan Campbell, you're not going to bite kneecaps off with a 6 foot, 166 wide receiver. You need to build that defense. The Lions know they're in a rebuild. So they're going to go get the best, like, kind of defensive player available. They're going to go get Micah Parsons, who, if he didn't sit out last year, he'd be a top 3 pick, depending on quarterbacks, of course. But he's, I think he's going there 7 for sure. Top 5 pick he should be. And he's Micah I can't say enough about how good of a player he is. He's so fun to watch. And I think he can be a tone center for the Lions, who can sneakily have a decent defense. And they know they're in a rebuild. They have Jared Goff. They have DeAndre Swift. Wide receivers aren't much. They have Rashad Perriman, Quintez Cephas, Adam Humphries, a bunch of guys. It's not much. So 100% could go wide receiver here. But I think with Dan Campbell, his personality, he's going to want to go get a, top 5 NFL talent in Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think, I don't know. I don't think they trade for a quarterback and then not give him like any weapons at all besides DeAndre Swift. So I see them going wide receiver here, but I mean, they've got a lot of holes that they need to fill.
Oh yeah.
And I could definitely see, I mean, Parsons is by far the best defensive player, in the draft. And I could definitely see them going that, but I don't know. I think if they, they make that big trade for a quarterback, they're going to need to get him some weapons and, they can do it later on in the draft, but like someone like Devontae Smith, who is, in my opinion, the best wide receiver prospect. I like him more than Chase, but I don't know. I just see them going a wide receiver there. But it's not out of the realm of possibilities for them going Parsons for sure.
I like it. Kind of first little switch about the draft, and also they have T.J. Hawkinson, which they love, and Dan Campbell, former tight ends coach. Just force feed him, I'll be fine. So yeah, we got Michael Parsons. I like that pick. I like him in Detroit. That's about it for him. So Aaron, you got number 8. This could go a few different ways, I think.
Yeah, this is where you definitely messed me up. Picking at 3, I get the wrong pin out. But I actually had them taking Trey Lance, but with Justin Fields still on the board, I don't think they pass up on Justin Fields.
Justin Fields going 8.
I'm hoping Sam Darnold will really thrive in Carolina, but at the same time, I'm not holding my breath for it, and I don't think they are either. I think that they are willing to take the chance on a rookie quarterback at 8, especially someone with the talent of Justin Fields. I think he's too good there not to pass up, and he's too intriguing. Like you said, they have a great offense, and I think any team that trades for a quarterback, they're going to immediately be looking to – they should immediately be looking to, help revitalize that offense. But they've got it so set there, that I could see them going a quarterback here, and then they can, shore up the defense, any amount that they might need to later on in the draft. But I think Justin Fields being there at 8 is just too enticing for them not to take it.
Yeah, that's interesting because by that pick, I'm sure they're not thinking that they have an option even. They might think they might have either Trey Lance or Justin Fields, not both,
Yeah.
So it's very interesting there because they could also go a few other positions as well because they did just get Darnold. But Yeah, and this is also kind of a trade-up situation as well, where a lot of teams, they'll be calling if Fields and Lance go past 7. So, there's a lot there, but, I mean, I'm here for it. Justin Fields is there. Makes my next pick kind of interesting because I had a few names in mind, but I wasn't quite sure where to go with the Broncos up next, just because, by that time it was like, I don't know what the Panthers are going to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll kind of jump into that, and we can kind of keep talking about Fields because this next guy, I'm going Trey Lance to Denver. They just traded for Teddy Bridgewater today, but they're still looking for a quarterback. And if they can get Trey Lance, a guy who doesn't necessarily have to start now, like year 1, because they have Teddy Bridgewater. Because the Broncos actually have a very good team, have a lot of weapons. Got Melvin Gordon in the backfield. Their defense is very good when they're healthy. Like, they actually have a surprisingly good team. They just have Drew Lock. So
I don't know. Say what you want about Drew Lock. I think he's got the shot to kind of pick it back up this season. I think, knowing him, I think he has a chance to really turn things around for himself. I think he's one of those guys that can, a lot with you saw with kind of Baker's kind of his sophomore season kind of slump, but then the turnaround this year, I think you might be able to see kind of the same thing with Drew Lock, but I could definitely see them taking a quarterback there, just to maybe bring in someone young, maybe like, Drew Lock, like the fire underneath him just a little bit and get him going even more. And then especially training for Teddy B, that's not a bad mentor to have right there,
not at all.
I love Teddy Bridgewater and always will, especially for, what he went through with the Vikings, and that injury that he had. But, he's not going to be a bad mentor quarterback if you want to go that route too, and maybe Drew Lock isn't the answer, but maybe Trey Lance is.
Yeah, I think he is. I'm not big on Drew Lock. He has enough weapons. He's had enough. I just think, even his great games, like he'll have maybe like 4 touchdowns, but he'll still only pass for like 200 yards. Like, it's just, I haven't seen enough from him to really do much. And I think the Broncos are kind of that way too, because with the team that they have around them, like, it's hard because I know they had a lot of injuries last year. Like, it's tough to say like a window for a team that's drafted in the top 10, but like they kind of somewhat have a decent window to at least, be competitive and, maybe make playoffs. It's tough with the Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders in your division, but, like they can do it. They just need a good quarterback, and Trey Lance can do it, especially if he doesn't have to start right away, which is another reason why I like him in San Francisco. Because if they keep Jimmy G, he doesn't have to start right away. Yeah. Kyle Shanahan's great with quarterbacks. Why would you go with a guy like Mac Jones, where you could have a guy with the upside of a Trey Lance or Justin Fields? Like, I don't get it, but still, I'm locked in with my pick at 3 with Mac Jones. But yeah, so Trey Lance to the Broncos, number 9. You got the number 10 pick, sir.
Yeah, well, I had them taking an offensive tackle here, but I just remembered that Sean Lee just retired like yesterday. So I think they need another linebacker. LVE is a great linebacker, but I think they need another one. And especially someone that, he can mentor and, they can, because Sean Lee's going to be a big hole because that dude's one of the best in the league, and he's one of the smartest, linebackers in the league. So I think they go Jeremiah Ouso, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. I can't.
Yeah. Wow.
I can't say that, but yeah, I could see him going there. I think that they need a linebacker to replace Sean Lee. They could go offensive tackle here too. But I just see linebacker right now as their biggest need. And I think he's the best one. I think he's, the second best one in the draft, behind Parsons.
I agree with you that he's the second best behind Parsons. I had him going later in the draft, still like in the early teens. I think the Cowboys, they have a ton of needs on defense. I think they might go corner here. That's kind of what I'm thinking, because get someone alongside Trevon Diggs. So man, I was already struggling with this Giants pick because I already had a couple people. Now there's a lot of guys that have fallen. this is like Dave Gettleman. He might actually trade back if this happens to him because, I mean, there's off the top of my head, you got Rashawn Slater at tackle, which will help the Giants tremendously. You could get Devontae Smith, give Daniel Jones even more help. You can go a cornerback, which they could use slightly, but I don't think I'm going to go corner there. So I'm between those two, and I'm going to do it. It's Devontae Smith. Like, don't overthink it. You get the best potential, and he doesn't necessarily have to come in and be the guy. If he goes to or not necessarily the Dolphins, if he goes to, the Lions, he's it. He is the guy. And goes to Giants, they have Kane Galladay, they have Saquon, they have a bunch of weapons. I mean, Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton are also nice too. Get Daniel Jones a bunch of help. I love Daniel Jones coming into this year. He's a guy that I actually love. So get him another weapon, make this Giants offense great because their defense was outstanding last year.
Yeah, their defense, especially with, Leonard Williams coming in and having the best year of his life. That definitely helped him out quite a lot.
So yeah, we got Devontae Smith going to 11. That was interesting. I was kind of thinking another Alabama wide receiver there, but Devontae Smith's there, and yeah. So on to number 12. We'll try to kind of. I feel like it'll go a little bit quicker once we get towards kind of the end of the draft, but yeah, we'll kind of start speeding through these a little bit. You know what? We're at the top 11. We're getting some good conversations in. So, Eagles to you, they have a lot of holes.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I have in my mock them going someone else, but with the guys we still have on the board, I think they're going to go Jalen Waddle. Is that how I pronounce his last name?
Yep. I like okay. Jalen Waddle. I like that pick a lot.
I think if he's there at 12, I think that's a home run.
Yeah, that's who I thought they were going to take. The Giants were going to take at 11. I was like, okay, we'll get them Jalen Waddle. But then all of a sudden, it's like Slater dropped, Devontae Smith dropped. It's like, yeah, gotta go Devontae Smith. But yeah, Jalen Waddle, I think that's a slam dunk home run pick.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles have a ton of needs, but you got to get more weapons. You have Jalen Reagor, that's it. And you have Jalen Hurts that you're not even committed to yet.
I don't know what it was that these teams just did not like their rookie quarterbacks last year.
Yeah,
the way they treated him and the way that the Dolphins treated, Tua. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts came out and played great his first game. They beat the Saints, but
yeah,
it's something. Then new coach comes in and it's like, yeah, we have an open QB battle with Jalen Hurts and who? Like Jalen Hurts and who? Who's the QB battle between? Nate Sudfeld? I'm still pissed at Doug Peterson for the whole against the Giants because I had a future on the Giants to win the division, and so I needed the Eagles to win. And we're going to test out Nate Sudfeld. Let's see what he's got.
What was even the point of that? What was going through his head? And he's like, yeah, you know what? This sounds like a good move to me.
And then 4 straight 3 and outs. Like, yeah, let's keep this going. I want to see what we have in this guy. I'm like, and the fact that it was still it wasn't like it was a blowout. Like, it's literally like a 1-possession game, 2-possession game. Like, go put Hurts at see what you can do. Win me money. That's all I care about.
Yeah, between that and what was I forgot? That and Greg Williams with his all out zero blitz. These coaches need to be investigated. Something's going on.
That's when I was like, I will put hundreds of thousands of dollars on the Jets get the number 1 pick because I was like, there's no way you do that multiple times in a Hail Mary situation. There's no unless you truly want that first overall pick, and then they go out and win the next week or the week after that. What?
I really couldn't believe it.
Yeah. No. Me and some of my friends, we have a communal blacklist that we have teams you don't bet on just because they've done you dirty so much. I don't even have a team. Literally, it says my name. And it just says Doug Peterson under it. I don't care. I don't think he signed anywhere yet. But if he does, I'm never betting on that team this football season. I don't care if he goes to the Titans. I'm never betting on the Titans. And please don't come to Tennessee.
I
Like,
don't blame you. Yeah, that was I don't
oh, I hate him. And then the 2-point conversion against the Seahawks that to like backdoor cover the spread. He did me dirty multiple times. Never. Doug Pearson blacklisted, dead to me. All right, man. So we got the Chargers now. Few picks. Man, there's one guy that's dropping that I'm like, I got to kind of think now where he could go. But
Well, I know who you're talking about, and I think I'm about to take him right here.
all right,
But I'm
well,
gonna
with 13, I have the Chargers, and I know I just want to make sure I get his name pronounced correctly.
that's right. You get the
Yeah, we got this. Quiddy Pay, edge rusher for Michigan. It's kind of a light edge rusher class, which is interesting, but the Chargers have a really good team, good offense, pretty good defense. They just all got hurt last year, so just adding another edge to go opposite Joey Bosa, and at 13, not having to move and getting the top edge rusher in the class, even if it's not the deepest edge rusher class or not the most dynamic, like that's a win for them, and that's exciting. So I'm going Quiddy Pay. He's kind of fun to watch if you watch some of his Michigan tape.
Yeah, that's one that I didn't see coming. I thought you were gonna go someone else there, but that's all right.
Yep. All right, 14 Vikings. It's all you.
This is a tough one. This is originally where I had Parsons going.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, this is tough. I wanted to go cornerback here, but they got Pat Pete, which is a good veteran. They could use someone young.
Dude, there's so many guys dropping right now. This is why I love doing joint mock drafts. There's always like one or two guys that just drop. And there's like 3-4 guys that I think is just like BPA at this point. Like you just got to take them.
Yeah, I don't know. They got Pat Pete. But I don't know how you pass on Patrick Surtain right here at 14.
Yep.
I just don't see you letting him go too much further.
No, I think I have him going 10 to the Cowboys. Like he's dynamic, he's great. Top corner in the draft. Like even though it's not the Vikings' biggest need, like that's a great pick. That's what I'm saying. BPA, like you're taking best player available when these guys start dropping. Mm-hmm. And once again, that's why I love these joint mock drafts, man. Oh man. So yeah, great pick there. But not necessarily a need, but hey, like you're gonna go get your guy.
And bringing someone in like Pat Pete too, like he's way past his prime, but you can bring a young guy in there, and then there's someone to mentor, and there's I don't know about you. I'd love to be if I was a cornerback, I'd love to be mentored by Pat Pete. That'd be a dream come true.
100%. Yeah, that's golden. I completely forgot that they even got him, honestly. So
that
kind
of shocked me. He left Arizona.
Yeah, you're gonna have great cornerbacks for years on years to go with that, and you're gonna need great corners in that division.
Mm-hmm.
Going up against A-Rob, going up against Aaron Rodgers. A-Rob and A-Rod. You gotta go up against those two.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I like that pick. Not necessarily, probably won't see him in a bunch of mocks. We might be kind of on our own there, but I like that. If he's available at 14, you go get him.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, so now I have the Patriots at 15, and this is where I was gonna go Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Yeah.
But man, now I'm thinking because we got I can't even think of their depth off the top of my head, but I think I might just have to go with, man, this is tough, dude. Like I had like a few names, but I'm like, now there's a few guys. I'm like looking through some of my position rankings just to see kind of who they could take. Ooh, that might be a guy. Man, this is tough. I think the Patriots, I could definitely see them trading up for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Into the top 10. But if they stay at 15, and a lot of mocks, I see Justin Fields going to the Patriots at 15 without them even having to move up. I don't think that'll happen. I think if they want Justin Fields, they're going to have to go get him. But
This is where I got Mac Jones going, is here at 15.
Here 15. That'd be good for them as well. Getting if he drafts, which I think he should. If he doesn't go 3, I don't think he goes in the top 14. He could go 15, he could go 19 to Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do it. This isn't necessarily this isn't like the sexy normal pick, and this isn't one of the guys that have fallen. But I still think linebacker is a big need for the Patriots. And so I'm going to go with Zaven Collins out of Tulsa.
I hate you.
Oh, he's great. He's fun to watch. He's the whole thing. Like, he's the whole package. It's Tulsa, so it's a smaller school. I'm guessing that's where you had him going a little bit later to a potential favorite team of yours. Is that what?
Yes. Yeah, that was my pick. That's what I wanted.
You see, that's what, and I think more realistically, he can go there. But it's the Patriots. Bill Belichick, he's never going to do the conventional guy as well. Like,
of course not.
You could have a million mock drafts, and you could have like, oh, this is a slam dunk guy, home run pick right here. He's not going to do that. He's going to pick 3 tight ends, and he kind of likes some smaller school guys. So Tulsa, Zaven Collins, he's 100% a first round pick. We'll probably go a little bit lower, but there's still 2 guys that have dropped that I was really tempted on picking. But I don't necessarily see Bill Belichick as a best player available kind of guy, because I think the 2 guys that have fallen, if they're gone, or he's planning on them being gone. So if they come to him, he's not going to change his draft strategy or his scouting. He's going to go get his guy, who
he
I thought
does very strategically in how exactly he wants to, and he's not going to let he's going to get who he wants.
100%. And that's who I thought Jeremiah Owusu was. So if he gets taken, he gets a pretty good number 3 linebacker, in my opinion. Zaven Collins, he's fun to watch, and already Patriots have a loaded defense, so he'll just even add to that. So yeah. I got Zaven Collins at 15. You have your Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I got luckily he dropped right here where I had him going earlier, but I was hoping that he dropped this low, because I think that this is going to be the best pick that Arizona could possibly have, and it's going to be J.C. Horn.
Good pick. He's one of the 2 guys I was talking about that was fallen.
Yeah, I figured it was. I think in my mock right now I have them going with Najee Harris.
Mm-hmm.
But if J.C. Horn does indeed drop all the way down there, I 100% see them going that way. I don't think they're gonna pass up the opportunity to take him there. He's just too good, and that they need a cornerback.
Yeah, J.C. Horn can 100% be 11 to the Giants, 12 to the Eagles, like 13 to the, like, he can 100% be above 16. But he's there. He's one of the 2 guys. And now at the Raiders, if J.C. Horn will fall into him, I would have gone there. But I'm going to go same position for the Raiders at 17. I'm going Caleb Farley. He's a guy who is where he's going to end up is all over the place with his injuries, and he's all over the news right now. But an article just came out. He's linked to the Cardinals, the Raiders, and the Browns. And this was actually the guy that I thought you were talking about with the Browns, because I think he would be a great fit in Cleveland.
Really?
He's a big corner. If you want to throw him in at safety, you can, because he's 6'2", over 200 pounds, crazy fast speed, athletic, great ball skills. And I think safety is what the Browns need. And so even though he is a corner, I think he could be a good fit in Cleveland. And that was kind of my thoughts, but I think the Raiders there, that's kind of like a Raiders pick, just an athletic guy. Like they like their measurables and their intangibles, and the Raiders are getting Caleb Farley here.
Yeah, right now I don't see the Browns going secondary quite yet. With John Johnson and Troy Hill, and then you're getting
I did forget about John Johnson. That was
back from injury.
I did,
and then you got
John Johnson.
Greedy Williams and Denzel Ward. I think they're really solid at secondary right now. They might go for some depth later on, and in case something happens to Grant Delpit, they might do that. But yeah, just right now I don't see them going secondary in the first round. But
yeah. Like I said, they're going to go whoever's the best guy there. which
Mhm.
who knows what it's going to be. So there's one guy who I do not think drops this far, but he's still there. And I don't know if he goes to 18. So we'll see out because I don't think the Dolphins necessarily need that, but that's not me to say. Who's your pick for the Dolphins at 18?
I think I know who you're talking about, but I think I'm going to go with someone ahead of him.
Uh-huh. I don't like I said, I don't think he's necessarily a fit for the Dolphins. That's not who they need. So with
Yeah, I
their
don't know. You keep talking. You keep if it's who I think it is, and you keep talking about him. I don't know. I'm going second, but I think I'm going to stick with Christian Darrisaw,
Okay.
OT
Wow.
from Virginia Tech.
Wow. Okay. Over Slater.
That's
Wow. Sticking with the board. I like it.
I don't
Well,
know. I don't.
I was gonna say we can kind of talk about these two guys right now because then I'm just going Rashawn Slater to the Washington football team right there. I think he's
Yeah,
the second best tackle. I think he could. I think if the Panthers don't go quarterback, I think they go Slater. If
yeah.
he doesn't get there, I could have seen the Giants going him, but Devontae Smith was there. Like he's just one of those guys that just kept falling. I was like, I don't want him to keep falling, but he is. I mean, Derek Shaw, I think is number 3, but I think I have Slater above him. Uh, yeah, back-to-back tackles go. Anything else to say on both those guys?
This just isn't a big like offensive tackle class. There's just not like that. Like last year where we had like all of those like offensive tackles that could have easily been home run picks. I don't really see that in this draft, and I mean, I have them both going higher, but I think right now they can be I think they can be interchangeable. On how you pick them. I could definitely see Slater going ahead of Darrisaw, but I don't know. It's just tough, especially being Miami. With Slater coming from Northwestern, I just don't know. You got kind of that more cold air kind of. You're right on the lake. That football is just a little bit different than what's going to be in Miami, and weather changes a lot. So that's why I got Darrisaw. I mean, it's Virginia Tech. It's not going to be like it's not the exact kind of weather situation that Miami's going to be, but I think it's a lot closer, and I think that will be just a slightly better fit in Miami than Slater will. But yeah, I think they're both just two guys that can easily, you can flip them around, you can take one ahead of the other, and I don't think there's any issues there.
Yeah, I agree. But all right, let's zoom through these picks. We're now at pick 20. Onto the Bears. It's your pick, sir.
I don't even know. The Bears are just such a mess right now. Have they done anything with Allen Robinson yet?
Yeah, Allen Robinson is on the team. They franchise tagged him.
They did?
Yeah, so they have A-Rob
Okay.
and Andy Dalton.
Oh, they can't. I don't know. There's no quarterback that I feel like they need to really reach for here.
No, there's not. They're a potential to try to like trade up, but they're gonna have to trade a lot to get into the top 10.
Yeah, and I don't see them. I mean, they might take a quarterback later on. I could see them going just best possible player here. And it's not really a need, but I don't see Christian Barmore going much further in the draft.
Yeah, I like that pick.
I can't. Like I said, it's not a crazy need, but I don't know. I can't see him falling much further in the draft. He's just a solid, defensive tackle, and he's going to be, for most teams, he could be an easy day one starter.
Chicago likes their defense, and I could see them going like that pick I like, but I could see him going receiver as well, trading up for quarterback or just getting BPA and Barmore. I like that pick there because they like their defense. 21 to the Colts. I'm going to go with the next best edge guy that I have, and that's Jalen Phillips out of Miami. I think he's the number 2 edge rusher. Like I said, it's not the deepest, most like dynamic edge rusher class that we've seen, but that's who I've got. It's a need for the Colts. They already have a good defense, a good, solid, steady team. They could go receiver here as well, but I think they go with edge, and with only one edge guy, off the board, I think they go Jalen Phillips here.
Yeah.
All right, you got my Titans. Don't mess it up.
I
I
got
know who I want. Don't you mess it up.
Oh man, I'm trying to think of what the Titans need off the top of my head. I didn't get this far through my mock yet.
They have two glaring needs. They have wide receiver and cornerback are their top two needs.
Really?
Oh yeah, cornerback.
I feel like that's two of their better positions.
Cornerback, they lost like everyone pretty much. All that, like Christian Fulton is like the only guy they still have, and so they need corner. They lost to Dory. He's in New York now.
Oh, that's okay.
And then they cut Malcolm Butler as well. So that, and then wide receiver they need as well because they're pretty much started from scratch there with the weapons. They did sign Josh Reynolds from the Rams, but it's still a need there.
Okay, then this isn't much of an issue. Let me try to open this. Where'd he go? I'm not even gonna try to pronounce this name.
Oh no, I don't like that because that's not my guy. Has an easy name.
Defensive. I got the cornerback from Syracuse.
Cornerback from Syracuse.
Melifuanu. Oh goodness, I definitely butchered that.
There are so many better cornerbacks than the one from Syracuse. Oh yeah, I don't even think he's a first round guy. You bastard.
I like him. I've been seeing his name pop up more and more. And
Ifeatu Melifonwu. I do kind of know about him a little bit, and I like him, but I just have seen so many other corners go in the first round that I personally like more than him. But
I've been seeing more and more. I mean, there are a couple ones still on the board, but I've been seeing more and more about him. And I don't know, just something screams like this dude's gonna be a problem,
Yeah. I'm not happy with you, but we'll still finish this draft together. Don't expect to get invited on anytime soon.
Hey, you took David Collins at 15. You took him from my Browns. I don't want to hear it.
We're even. AK, the guy that I want, Elijah Moore, bring him to Tennessee, baby. I want another Ole Miss wide receiver, Elijah Moore, throw him in the slot. Him, Josh Reynolds, AJ Brown with Tannehill and Derrick Henry. Give me that all day. Our defense is still kind of whatever, so we do need secondary. But I think we could get Melifonwu in the second, maybe. So
he definitely could. I mean, I had the same problem with Buda Baker a couple years back. I want him in the first round, and he dropped to the second round, and I'm like, okay,
yeah, it happens. I mean, we got Christian Fulton. I was dying for him in the first round. We got him in the second round. Could have got him in the first round. We're going to come talk about our first round pick last year. Moving to the Jets. The Jets, I would have liked Derishaw here if he would have done it, but now I think the Jets, you just go get your quarterback, Zach Wilson. You get another huge knee on the offense. You can support your quarterback in a way besides offensive line, and you go get yourself the best running back in this draft. You get Najee Harris at 23. So I think for the Jets, that's a very good, day one. You get Zach Wilson, you get Najee Harris. That's what I got there.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah, all right. 24 to the Steelers, who are probably pissed because they want Najee.
I don't like this. I don't like picking for them.
Let's go to the very last guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down to.
You know what? I think they'll go Kyle Trask here. They're gonna find Big Ben's replacement.
They're gonna stretch all the way up there. I don't. They need a center, and
there is a very good center.
I'm trying to see who the center is. I don't see him anywhere.
From Bama, Landon Dickerson.
Is he not on my list? You say Landon Dickerson?
Yeah.
Where is he at?
That's who I was thinking.
Okay. Oh, okay. I hate when. Okay. Yeah. Okay. There he is. I don't know why he's.
So is that the pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's who I wouldn't have minded that for the Jets either, but I just leaned Najee Harris.
I honestly forgot about him until you said something. But yeah, I don't know why they label all the, got all the, centers and guards labeled as just
Oh,
guards all the way through. So I'm like,
it's like
where
where
is
is he? So yeah, all right. Jacksonville. This one's gonna be interesting. I could see them going a lot of different ways. Could 100% go running back, but I think they like what they have in James Robinson. I think they'll add a guy, uh, later the in the weekend. So man, there's a few guys that I kind of like. I think I'm going to go with a cornerback from Northwestern. They had one of the best secondaries in college football last year. A guy who I will have been okay with you saying for Tennessee, but whatever, we're past it.
I
25
thought about it. I thought about
Jaguars, Greg Newsome the second. I got him going there. Uh, Jaguars need a lot, but he'll be a solid pick, and that's a good day for them. Trevor Lawrence, Greg Newsome. Yeah, good day for them. All right.
it. Yeah.
On the clock, your Cleveland Browns at number 26.
No, I'm gonna this one's definitely gonna be a reach.
Hey,
But
you gotta get your guy.
this is personally one of my favorite players in the draft, and I think it's gonna be one of the most electric ones, and that's Jabril Cox
Okay.
from LSU, from NDSU and LSU.
All
They
right.
need a linebacker. They got a glaring hole at linebacker, and I think Jabril Cox is really underrated in this draft.
You always see a lot of people, especially when you get to the mid to late 20s, they don't care about mocks. They don't care about best way. You go get your guy. Like we see it all the time. And it works out a lot of the time. So it's you go get your guy. All right. On to the Ravens. Let me see. There's a few positions I could see the Ravens going. I think I'm gonna, kind of go. I'm gonna take the guy who I thought should have been a Tennessee Titan right now. And they have other needs, but I think they're going to go get a wide receiver, I guess, especially if Elijah Moore is there. He's kind of a smaller guy. So, it's a little bit similar to the skill set of Marquise Brown, but, smaller guy can spread the field, gets open, sure hands. But, like, they need more than just Mark Andrews and Marquise Brown, even though they don't throw the ball a ton. Elijah Moore, he's there at 27. I personally don't think he's going to be. I think he's gone by 22, whoever's picking there. But yeah, so 27, Elijah Moore. You got the Saints at 28.
I'm gonna go back-to-back wide receivers, and I'll take Bateman at 28.
Rashad Bateman, I like him as well.
I think he's gonna go above Moore, but
He 100% could. I personally just like Elijah Moore. Just with Tennessee specifically.
yeah,
I just think he's a better fit there. Rashad Bateman, I would not be upset with at all if he came to Nashville, but I like Elijah Moore a little bit better there, and I just threw him there with the Ravens. Rashad Bateman, I like that pick with the Saints. Throw another thing. And that just leads us perfectly to the Green Bay Packers, who, if one of those two guys were there, and there's a few other wide receivers that they could take, that would be awesome. But do they take first round wide receivers? No, they do not. So I am not going to even bother with the wide receiver page in these rankings. So there's a few things. I think they're probably going to shore up their offensive line just a little bit, add another guy there. So let me see who I want, if I could, figure out this. We're almost there. We are almost there. Almost there. And we're going, that's the guy. I couldn't remember how to officially say his name. I wanted to see it. Elijah Vera Tucker from USC.
Yeah.
Tackle there. I think if he falls to 29, that's a steal.
Yeah.
Like he's very good, very talented. Definitely the next tackle off the board. And yeah, they go that 100%. They could go some wide receivers, especially if the one of the two that we just talked about goes or is still available. They could, they should. They're not going to, but they don't do too bad with Elijah Vera Tucker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're right on with that.
All right. You got the Bills at pick 30. We're zooming through these picks.
They're
I know we're over on some time, but worth it. 100% worth it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're going best available player. I think the best one still on the board is a Z. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name.
Yep. I know who you're talking about.
From Georgia. If he's still on the board there somehow, I don't think they pass up. I mean, edge rusher isn't like a crazy need. I mean,
Not at all, but
they definitely need help on defense a little bit. But, they're in a position right now where they're solid all around that they can pick the best available player on the board. And I don't see them passing on a Z if he's there.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Definitely not a need. Could go running back, could go corner.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a good pick there for them. At number 31 with the Ravens, made the huge trade with the Chiefs, trading away Orlando Brown. I think, they could have done this at 27. They got a receiver. I think they're going to go get the replacement tackle. And there's one other first round guy, I think, on here. And that is, I want to make sure I got his name right. Tevin Jenkins, tackle from Oklahoma State. He's a late first round guy, I think, possibly early second round. Just go get a nice young guy, get in that. Fits the Ravens pretty well, I think. So Tevin Jenkins to the Ravens. And now Mr. Irrelevant for the Zach Sports, Zach Rieger, Aaron Crowell, mock draft 2021. Tampa Bay Buccaneers select.
I think they just say, you know what, we're not going to draft this year.
They don't need you. They literally brought back every single guy.
I don't know what they're I don't know where to go with them. Like, I don't know. Their probably biggest need might be running back. I don't know if they really trust Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette.
Giovanni Bernard. They just keep throwing running backs in there. Would not surprise me if they bring another one in there.
They could go Inte. They could shock everyone and go Trey Sermon here. They could literally do whatever they want here and it wouldn't matter. But I'm going to actually have them pick. I'm going to pick the OT from Texas here.
Okay.
Samuel Cosme.
I like it. Something a little different. You can never have too much, protection for Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm. And especially they hit a home run with, Tristan Wirfs last year. I think if they're going to take an offensive tackle, that they're going to knock it out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they want to, even shore up that right tackle spot, who do they have at right tackle? Who's their starting right tackle?
I'd have to look.
I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd have to look it up. I'm struggling. It's getting late.
Yeah, I think if they're going to pick anyone and it's going to be an offensive tackle and they're going to hit a home run and they're going to, they just don't. I mean, what do you need? They won a Super Bowl and brought everyone back. I don't know what you.
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here for like you go get some more protection. I could see them going Travis Etienne if he's still there.
Yeah.
At 32, just to throw another running back in there because Bruce Arians loves just throwing running backs in his room. Yeah. But I think what I think would be kind of fun that I could see happening is, and me and Jordan Williams kind of talked about this last week. Jordan brought the idea up, and I've heard it a few places now, and I like it even more. And just throwing like Kyle Trask in there, just get a guy late in the first round. People get their quarterbacks. It's like, go get Kyle Trask, who's got some upside, and like just let him sit behind Tom Brady for a couple years, and then you have your guy.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks first year with Bruce Arians, they have a tough time learning that offense. He won't have that necessarily if he's been learning it for a couple years. So yeah, I kind of like that, and kind of bring it back to betting, because we always got to touch on betting a little bit in this podcast. The over-under for quarterbacks taking is 5.5, rightfully so. I think I'm hammering, and by hammering I mean like kind of sprinkling, because it's the NFL draft, so you never like throw all your entire bankroll on there. But I think I'm gonna definitely make a play, and once again I'll throw all my plays out there before draft day, or before the draft officially starts. But I think I'm for sure doing over 5.5, just because I think if it's not Kyle Trask, it could be Kellen Mond. Like someone's going to take a quarterback in like the late 20s, early 30s. Just either they're trading in or the Bucks will take someone. So awesome.
You brought up one of my favorite quarterbacks in the draft too, and that's Kellen Mond. I think he's someone who's going to be a real sleeper in the draft, but I think he can. I think that dude's going to be good. Watching some of his tape,
I like him.
He's got a couple issues to work on, but I mean that dude can ball.
100%, and he's got a ton of experience behind him too. He's been starting forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But all right, let's run through this real quick. So we have Trevor Lawrence to the Jaguars, Zach Wilson to the Jets, Mac Jones to the Niners, Kyle Pitts to the Falcons, Penei Sewell to the Bengals, Dolphins get Jamar Chase, Lions get Micah Parsons, Panthers get Justin Fields, Trey Lance to the Broncos, Jeremiah Owusu Karamoa to the Cowboys, Vontae Smith to the Giants, Jalen Waddle Eagles, Kwity Paye to the Chargers, Patrick Surtain falling a little bit, going to the Vikings, Zaven Collins to the Patriots, Cardinals get Chasey Horn also falling a little bit, Raiders get Caleb Farley, Dolphins get Christian Darrisaw, Washington football team goes Rashawn Slater, he fell, Bears get Christian Barmore, Colts go Jalen Phillips, Titans go a cornerback who I don't want, Jet in the first round, Melifonwu, Jets go Najee Harris, Steelers Landon Dickerson, Jaguars Greg Newsome, Browns Jabril Cox, Ravens Elijah Moore, Saints Rashawn Bateman, Packers Elijah Vera Tucker, Bills Aziz. I gotta actually like see his name. I'm gonna attempt it. I need to like actually see his name. I didn't write it down in time. We got Aziz Ojulari, from Georgia, and then Tevin Jenkins to the Ravens and Samuel Cosme to the Bucks. That was fun. A lot of surprises, a lot of things I wasn't expecting. I'm sure a lot of things you weren't expecting. That's why these mock drafts are fun. It's draft day, dude. Like,
it's exciting. I can't wait. I'm excited.
Let's get it. So everyone, thank you so much for listening. Go give us a follow on social media at Zach Sports HQ on Twitter. Zach Rieger, my name on YouTube. Search Zach Sports HQ on TikTok. I just started doing some TikToks, getting some comedy stuff out there, getting some, some pics out there, just being goofy, being myself, it's a good time. You can follow me on Twitter at ZachRigger18. Aaron, you want to throw your Twitter out there?
I forgot what it was. I think it's Aaron _ Crowell7. I've already changed it like 3 times.
Yeah, so, it's simple. Just go to my follower or followers and search Aaron.
It's pretty much just Aaron Crowell. So yeah.
So everyone, thank you so much for listening. Aaron, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me on.
I take it back. I've made it up with the Titans. I will invite you back on at some point.
All right, sounds good.
But yeah, I really appreciate everyone listening. Leave a review, 5 stars, whatever, comment, questions, concerns, tell me what I'm good at, tell me what I suck at, I can take it. But yeah, all right, give us a follow. Thanks all for listening. Aaron, thank you one more time for coming on, and
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, happy draft day.
Yeah, let's go.